Have you ever looked at a genius, a brilliant musician, a charismatic actor, or even a visionary entrepreneur and wondered, how do they do that? And when you ask them, what is your secret? They give you a vague, frustrating answer like, I don't know, it just comes to me, or I just feel it. We live in a world that worships talent. We are obsessed with genius. We believe that some people are just born with a magical spark, that the rest of us lack. We follow influencers, we listen to pundits, and we trust charismatic leaders because they seem to have a special connection to the truth. But what if I told you that this spark isn't a skill at all? What if the person dazzling you on stage or the expert sounding so confident on the podcast actually knows nothing? What if they are just a hollow vessel being used by a force they don't understand? Today, we are diving into one of Plato's shortest, but most stinging dialogues, Ion. This isn't just a book about poetry. It is a devastating critique of the expert class and a psychological investigation into the nature of inspiration versus knowledge. It asks a brutal question. Do you actually know what you are talking about? Or are you just good at talking? If you have ever felt imposter syndrome, or if you have ever been frustrated by a charismatic boss who talks a big game, but can't execute, this book is the red pill you need. The core message of Ion revolves around the distinction between Techne, art skill craft, and Thea Moira, divine dispensation inspiration. The story is simple. Socrates meets Ion, a rhapsode. Think of a rhapsode as a combination of a rap artist, an actor, and a professor. Ion travels around Greece reciting the poems of Homer to huge crowds. He just won first prize. He is famous. He is arrogant. He claims he is the world's greatest expert on Homer. Socrates congratulates him but then sets a trap. He asks, Ion, are you an expert only in Homer or in all poets? Ion says, only Homer. The others are boring. Socrates smiles. This admission destroys Ion's claim to knowledge. Socrates argues that if Ion truly possessed the art techne of poetry like a doctor, possesses the art of medicine, he would be able to judge all poetry good or bad. A doctor doesn't just know how to treat a cold in one specific patient. He knows the principles of health that apply to everyone. The core philosophy here is that true expertise is universal. If you can only do your trick in one specific context, you don't have a skill, you have a possession. You are not the master of the craft, you are a slave to the muse. Plato is telling us that there is a massive difference between understanding the system and just being used by the system. The core message is a warning. Don't confuse a moment of flow with a lifetime of mastery. Let's break this down into 3 profound insights that will change how you view talent and authority. Insight number 1, the magnet and the rings. This is the most famous image in the book. Socrates explains why Ion can move crowds to tears without knowing anything. He uses the metaphor of a magnet, the muse god. The magnet attracts an iron ring, the poet Homer. That ring becomes magnetic and attracts another ring, the performer Ion. And that ring attracts the final ring, the audience. This is the chain of inspiration. The power doesn't originate from Ion. It flows through him. When Ion is performing, he is not in his right mind. He is possessed. He is literally out of his mind ecstasis. The insight for us is this emotional contagion is not intellectual authority. Just because a speaker, a movie, or a leader makes you cry or feel goosebumps, it doesn't mean they are telling you the truth. They are just the middle ring in a magnetic chain. We often mistake feeling for fact. Plato warns us respect the power of the magnet. But don't ask the magnet for medical advice. Insight number 2, the one-trick pony problem. Ion is proud that he is the best at Homer. But Socrates points out that this narrowness proves his ignorance. If you understand the principles of strategy, you can analyze Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and Genghis Khan. If you can only talk about Napoleon, you don't know strategy, you just memorize trivia about Napoleon. This is a massive insight for our careers. We often specialize so deeply that we lose the ability to think critically outside our tiny bubble. We become Homer experts who can't read Hesiod. Plato argues that true knowledge implies a grasp of the whole. If you cannot transfer your skills to a new problem, you don't own the skill. You are just a mimic. Real mastery is adaptable. Insight number 3, the general verses. The Rhapsode. The dialogue ends with a hilarious scene. Ion, cornered by Socrates, gets desperate. He claims that because Homer writes about war and he knows Homer by heart, Ion is actually a great general. He seriously believes that reciting lines about chariots makes him qualified to lead an army. Socrates laughs at him. He asks, if you are a great general, why are you traveling around reciting poems instead of leading the Greek army? Ion has no answer. This is the illusion of competence. We see this everywhere. An actor plays a doctor on TV and starts giving medical advice. A tech billionaire reads a few sci-fi books and thinks he knows how to colonize Mars better than the scientists. The insight is talking about the thing is not the thing. There is a hard wall between the representation of reality and reality itself. Don't let your ability to describe the work fool you into thinking you can do the work. So how do we apply this ancient wisdom to our lives tomorrow? First, audit your genius. Look at your own success. Is it based on Techne skill or inspiration luck flow? If you rely only on feeling it, you are vulnerable. If the muse leaves you, you are empty. You must build the Techne, the boring, technical, universal principles underneath your talent. Don't just be a magnet, be an engineer. Second, question the influencers. We live in the golden age of Rhapsodes. YouTubers, podcasters, and tweeters are the new ions. They interpret the world for us. But ask yourself, do they have the skill of truth? Or are they just magnetic rings transferring emotion? Enjoy the performance, but check their sources. Don't hire a Rhapsode to drive your chariot. Finally, beware of domain trespassing. Just because you are smart in one area, like Ion is with Homer, don't assume you are smart in every area. Stay humble. Recognizing the limits of your knowledge is the first step to real wisdom. Ion ends with Socrates giving Ion a choice. Do you want to be considered a dishonest man who possesses a skill, but hides it, or a divine man who knows nothing but is used by the gods? Ion chooses divine. It's a prettier title. But Socrates knows the truth. Eon is empty. Don't be Ion. Fill yourself with understanding, not just inspiration.